This is High Ledges Audubon Sanctuary in Shelburne, up on the ridge to the east of town. This was the childhood home of Ellsworth Dutch Barnard, born here in 1907. Like many in his generation, Dutch left the farm to get an education at the Massachusetts Agricultural College, which is now the University of Massachusetts down in Amherst. Dutch pursued scholarship rather than agriculture. He became an English professor, taught at a number of colleges and universities around the country, including at UMass. But his heart was never far from this place. He and his wife, Mary, spent summers in a little one-room cabin here well into their 90s. Dutch died in 2003, and Mary passed away the following year. I first came here almost 20 years ago on an assignment to photograph Dutch and Mary. And I was inspired by their love and knowledge of this place, of its natural history, its geology, and its beauty. And I've been coming back ever since to explore High Ledges with my camera. In 1998, Dutch published In a Wild Place, A Natural History of High Ledges. And I think you'll hear in his words the voice of someone who has peeked under every rock and leaf, who's climbed every tree, who's walked every ridge of this landscape. And I think you'll also hear how his words have inspired my own sense of this wild place. There's a spot along the crest of the ridge that, in the town of Shelburne, forms the steep eastern slope of the Deerfield River Valley, where a rockfall in some distant past has left an overhanging cliff known locally as the High Ledges. Traditionally, this was a favorite destination for hikers from the nearby town of Shelburne Falls, and I remember hearing from my father that there was once a road leading to it from the Barnard farm, along which one could drive a horse and buggy. A mile or two north of the village, the river makes an abrupt turn to the west, and from High Ledges one can look straight up its V-shaped valley, with a series of ridges running down to the river on either side, each one rising beyond the other toward the level line topping the Hoosick Range, a line broken beyond by the massive upward surge of Mount Greylock toward a perfect dome whose summit is the highest point in Massachusetts. This is the panorama when the air is clear and the face of nature is unshadowed. But the scene is ever changing from season to season, from day to day, from hour to hour. Here and there among the deciduous trees are stands of evergreens, chiefly white pine and hemlock, though in the area of the High Ledges proper, it is the red pine that is dominant, a species rare in Massachusetts. It is to be regretted that no trees in the sanctuary are fully mature, except for a few relatively small and short-lived species, or an occasional giant oak or maple whose widespread branches, a sign of its having grown to maturity on open land, have made it valueless for lumber. Even the areas that were never cleared have been repeatedly cut over since colonial times, once by my father at the beginning of this century. As for animate life, there are butterflies that no eye can miss, and reptiles, turtles and snakes, more seldom seen, though a garter snake makes its home under the front doorstep of the house. I have fished a ringneck snake out of the rain barrel, and a shed skin, shining and transparent, has mysteriously appeared beside the fireplace. Then there are the amphibians, frogs, toads, and salamanders. I listen each spring for the opening chorus of wood frogs and the music of spring peepers, and children are always delighted by finding along the trails after a rain red-spotted newts. In the woods, a wanderer away from the beaten trails may suddenly be halted by a thunderous roar of wings as a grouse takes flight, or by a fluttering at his feet as an ovenbird deserts her neatly roofed nest. Or one may hear, accompanied by the gurgle of a brook through a deep ravine, the high, clear song of a winter wren rippling on like the stream itself. And at the ledges in the evening, one can hear from the pines along the cliff a hermit thrush in song of unearthly sweetness, pronouncing a benediction on the departing day. So here is one small precious piece of earth that will remain unspoiled, where refugees from the restless rush of the human world may find in the presence of nature a moment of peace.